Guys, I'm so behind. I'm so behind on things to do. I have so many things to do and I'm so behind on them all. But just sort yourself out, okay? Just take a minute. Just take a minute to sort yourself out. That's what I'm gonna do. I have a coffee. This is an Ice White Rabbit from Stitch. Yum. It's batch brew with cold foam. Cold foam. I was like, wow, okay, cold foam. This is cool. This is a cool new thing. And I drank it and it was delicious. And I was like, wow, this is all right. I could get around cold foam every day. Cold foam is just cream. Just FYI, cold foam is just cream. Cream and sugar. So it's not healthy. It's not healthy. I was like, wow, cold foam. This is gonna be my new thing. No, it's a treat. It's a treat for the weekend. So this is my weekend treat. It's my little cold foam drink. And it's really good. It's batch brew with cream and lemon. And it's delicious, but no, this is not a daytime, normal everyday drinking coffee. I'm gonna bring you closer because I just want to see you. How are you? I'm on the floor. I have some snacks that have burst open. Oh, I don't know if these are gonna be good. Did I burst these open? Oh no, this is not. Oh no. No, that's so sad. I think these have been... Okay, that's really stale. I was gonna eat those, but never mind. I am having a really good time today doing stocktake. It's been a long time since I have done stocktake properly, and I've had a lot of zine fairs, a lot of art book fairs, a lot of fairs in general. I've sold out of a bunch of stuff. I have 2 really big fairs coming up, so I decided today I was gonna sit on the floor and I was gonna go through all my stuff, all my stock. And for context, let me just show you what's going on down here. Oh, is it gonna, are we gonna, oh, come on. This is all of my stock down here. And all up there. And all of these, all of that. That's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to go through. Maybe you can go here. Ooh. Okay. Wait. Let me just put my... Okay, let me put that there. Let's tip this down a little bit. Ooh. And now we have all the stuff. Welcome to my floor, guys. Welcome to my floor. Okay, first things first. I went to the Melbourne Art Book Fair it was a 3-day fair, which is huge. I was not expecting it to be as busy as it was, but it was just absolutely relentless and crazy. And that was kind of like my big main fair for the start of the year. There's been some other little ones, but that's kind of the one that I was like, right, this is the big fair. That was about a month ago. I went down to Melbourne. It was a very tight turnaround. Just like went down, did the fair, came back. But the thing with the Melbourne Fair, the Melbourne Art Book Fair, is that it's kind of the biggest art book fair in Australia. It's massive. It's like thousands and thousands of people show up. Big. It's at the NGV, the National Gallery, and there's heaps of artists, heaps of designers, heaps of tablers, and I was just unprepared for how busy it was going to be. Like, it was utterly relentless the whole time. So even though that was like an amazing it was an amazing experience. Please hold for plane. It was an amazing experience, but it was so busy. It was so busy. I like barely got a chance to look around. So the only things that I bought literally the morning of day 1. Like, I got there like 15 minutes before the fair started, and it was a Friday, so it was like the quietest day of the 3 days because it was still a working day. Even though it was busier than any zine fair I've ever done. So that, to put it into context of how busy it got, like on the Saturday and Sunday, But anyway, I'm going to show you first what I got from Melbourne Art Book Fair before we do stock take, because I want to show you some fun stuff. So very quickly, I got some free posters. They did this amazing like poster exhibition and pop-up before. I'm so lucky that I nabbed these before the fair started, because literally day one they were gone. Anytime you give like a free poster away or a free thing away, nobody's gonna be behaving themselves. People were grabbing like 10 at a time. Which I do get. I got one for me and one for my studio mates, so I took a few, but not heaps. But yeah, they did this free poster exhibition, which was really cool, and they had all these like different posters set up in the middle of the room, and then like different stuff hanging up on the walls. I also got this beautiful sort of Rezo inspired, like a Rezo brand inspired print, which is by Sandwich Press, which is a new press that's just opened up in Melbourne. Love this one. We ended up doing a poster swap for this, so I gave them one of my studio posters and they gave me this, which was really nice. I just love stuff that's just like actually, I guess, like Rezo themed, I guess. Like I love Rezo, so it's just like it's just like a nice thing to have in the studio. I'm rapid firing this because I know stock take is going to take 100 million years, so I don't want to, take too long. Even though we are just chilling out. This is another Tree Paper Gallery color chart, a Rezo color chart. I have a different one by them, which has got more colors, but I just really liked this one because it's got the like the photograph as well as the chart, and I just love aqua. I'm a big fan of the aqua color. It's so beautiful. So that'll go up on the wall at some point. This is the new Rezo studio that has opened, Sandwich Press, which took me. I was next to them for the Melbourne Fair, and I was also like on one side there was Sandwich Press, on the other side there was my friends Carla and Alice, who I also went to Tokyo Art Book Fair with. Like we were just there at the same time because we were all doing the fair. I didn't technically go with them, but it felt like we did because we bonded over the trip. But it was such a nice, like, little sort of like Rezo design illustration, small press vibe in the corner that we were in. And anyway, Sandwich Press has sort of like just launched a new magazine, and this is one of the editions from that. It's a how do I describe it? So it's called a buffet mag, and the Sandwich Press's whole thing is like food related, like connecting over like food storytelling. But also it took me so long to get the pun. The pun went completely over my head. Like, it's a Sandwich Press, except it's an independent publishing press. So good, loved it. It was like day 3 of the fair, and I just turned around and went, "Oh, it's Sandwich Press!" And they were like, "Yes!" So anyway, this particular edition is about, yet again, another Rezo studio. This is about Glom Press, which I've got a few of their works. They do amazing Rezo printing, mainly for like comic art and illustration, and they have such an amazing command over really soft colors. I'm always really inspired by their use of color because I tend to use like full opacity, full saturation, full blocks of color, and they're really good at blending colors. So I'm super excited to read this particular edition. I'm not going to open it right now, but this mag buffet it's basically it's a magazine that's about one topic per mag, and they interview the studio or artist or person or organization over food. So the things that you talk about end up being quite different because you're like sharing a meal. So I think that's such a nice concept. Really, really cool. What else do I have from... Oh yes, another Sandwich Press bag. This is their sort of big, chunky beginner guide to risograph. This is like a big tome of Rezo printing. Please hold for plane. yeah, this is their big tome about getting started doing Riso, learning everything that there is to learn about risograph. And even though I know how to use a risograph and I do my own risograph printing, I love buying guides because I think you never stop learning. It's like a lifelong learning process to master risograph printing. And I also just love reading educational materials and like distilling how people can learn, and also how people explain stuff, because there's always a new and probably better way to explain something than the way that I explain it to people. So I love reading different interpretations of the same learning so that I become like a better teacher, because I run workshops and I sometimes do like one-on-one lessons, and I'm always talking about risograph to people and trying to explain what it is. So I feel like having a good baseline of lots of different educational materials just helps me be a better teacher, basically. And the guys at Sandwich Press said that this was inspired by sushi. So it's like a little tuna sushi roll. So this is like the nori and then the fish and the rice. So everything's kind of got some kind of little food inspired. I'll just show you a little flip through of this. Super lovely printing. I'm very, very excited to get stuck into reading this. It's a beautiful, beautiful edition. Yeah, so that's Sandwich Press. I'm not going to put this back on because it's going to take me too long. That's Sandwich Press. Then I've also got some little other bits. Oh yes, this is crazy. I've been waiting to get one of these for so long. I found one originally in Hillvale Gallery in Melbourne. It's literally packaged in a real cigarette box, and it smells like tobacco, but it's an art book, and it's about very specific, look at this, it's an art book, look at that, ready? Wow, that is so fucking cool. It's about a very specific type of cigarette that tends to be smoked at Chinese weddings. This is called Till Death Do Us Part. It's so good. Let me see if I can find. Please hold for plane. Yeah. So as you can see, there's like heaps of photos of people like smoking these ciggies at Chinese weddings. It's such a great concept. Like, just incredible concept, incredible execution. It goes like back in the cigarette packet, and then it shuts like that. It's so good. I love this sort of stuff. Like, just high concept art book. Well worth the price of admission. I heard on the grapevine, don't quote me on this, I heard on the grapevine that the artist who made this couldn't get boxes made that looked anything close to the sort of real thing. So he ended up just buying a carton of these from China, and every time he wants to make a new edition, he has to just buy a carton of these cigarettes and then tip all the cigarettes out. I don't know if he smokes them or not. I don't know. But I heard that was what I heard on the grapevine, that they have to buy the real thing, and that's why they smell like tobacco, because they are actually the real cigarette boxes. The next thing that I got is I did a little swap with some kids, which was super cool. I always love when kids come by with their zines that they make. This is like a little activity zine. It's just super cute. Love the execution. And then on the back it says, like this zine, check out my other ones, like activity zine, mushroom art, a guide to camping, and best books in the school library. So I did a little swap. I gave the kids some little micro zines that I've made as well, and we just swapped, and I gave them a sticker as well. So whenever there's a kid that comes with stuff that they've made, to me that's like an instant trade. I love the trade economy, and even though I don't trade with everyone, I love trading with kids because I think it's obviously so important for like children to make stuff, and it's so important for children to access different forms of media. So it's like not even a question for me to trade with a kid who's come up to me and said, can we do a trade? Can I show you what I've made? It's really cool. With adults though, it's funny, like I'm a little bit more discerning when it comes to trading with adults, because I unfortunately am running a business at the end of the day. Like this is a part of my business model, and I think if I was only doing much smaller runs and much more like sort of traditional zine making, where it is more trade based, that would be fine. But sometimes, unfortunately, just the quality of the work is not good enough to trade. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to just sell my work. Please hold for plane. Yeah, usually I try to have a zine or two that is on the lower cost side and also like on the lower sell price side. So something's usually under $5 to sell, $5 or under. Usually that sort of stuff I'm happy to trade, but for the most part, a lot of my work is now, you know, priced in the sort of $20 to $50 region. And if somebody comes up to me with a zine that's sort of this big and goes, hey, do you want to trade something? It's not really like a valuable trade-off, unfortunately. And I do, maybe, you know, this is a bit of a hot take, but I do think that if you are trading, you have to trade really high quality work. Like the trade offer, when you go up to somebody and say, can I trade with you? I argue that your work has to be better than the work that you're asking for. I think asking somebody to give, you know, their high quality work that they're selling to you for free in this economy, the value add that you have to bring is more important than what you're asking them to give you, in my opinion. Which may be a hot take, because I know zine making in general is sort of considered a trade based practice, which is fine, and I do wholeheartedly believe in that. And I think if you are intending on making zines for trade, and that's the only way that you make zines, I think that's so fair, and I think like the trading aspect should still exist. But especially in contexts like a book fair or like a zine fair where people are there to sell their work, I do think that rocking up, sort of expecting everyone to trade with you and bringing something that is low effort and very cheap to produce kind of can rub people the wrong way. And I think you have to be like, I'm trading something that's really high quality, really good work, really interesting, really high concept, and it's going to bring value to the person that you are asking to give their work for free to you. Anyway, kids, completely exempt from that argument. I will take whatever they have because I'm happy that they made it and I want them to make more stuff. And the only way that you can do that is by keeping on and improving your work and making more things. So yes, that's my story. This next book, this is such a cool little thing. That was such an interesting little story. I was selling my work at the book fair, and this girl came up to me and she was looking through my stuff, and I said, what is that in your hand? This just looks really cool, right? I was like, oh, I like typesetting. This is a cool looking book. Do you mind if I have a look at it? She said, of course, no problem. Here you go, have a look. Take the book and have a look. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, hang on a second. That's my name. Why is my name on this book? What's going on? Why is my name here? I don't understand. What is happening? And then I opened the book and I was like, hang on. That's a scan of my zine. What is going on? And she went, oh, are you a student of ISIA Urbino, Italy? And I was like, no. She went, are you a student from Monash University? And I said, no, I am not. What is going on? And she said, oh, this was like a student publication of people that were asked to, hang on, I'm going to have to look this up, asked to share a piece of information, a quote, a scan, a page, a paragraph from a publication that they were like inspired by in terms of the practice of publishing, the practice of making books, the practice of making zines, which is so interesting. And it's so cool because then they turned it into a book, and they were giving copies away for free to anyone that was mentioned in the book or anyone who had participated in making the book. I had no clue this was happening. I had no clue, no idea. And I didn't know, and I wouldn't have known unless this girl walked up to me and I was just like, oh, that looked cool, and I saw my own name in the book. So anyway, the page that they showed of mine is, funnily enough, actually about making profit from your work. And I will read it to you because I think it still rings true. So here you go. This is my writing. So it's from a long time ago, so it's probably not that great. But anyway, zine making, while coming from grassroots and underground spaces, is not the same as it used to be. Money is not the same as it used to be. You can still respect the value of zine creation and make money to support your work at the same time. Making money from zines is not a bad thing. Making profit from your art is an important aspect of being a practicing artist. Even if something is just a hobby, if it costs you money and time and effort to make, you are allowed to make a profit from it. Especially if it affords you the opportunities to make more nice things. Especially if it affords you a nice treat or a new tool. Especially if you can afford to pay your rent this week. A good rule of thumb for pricing your work is the cost of the work to make plus 50% profit margin plus 25% of that because you're still undercharging. Yeah, so anyway, this person, I don't know who, where is it? Who's the person that cited the work? I'm not going to be able to find their name in time. But anyway, the person who cited this work put this little piece of paper from a zine called Zine Fair Survival in this book, and now it exists in like this cool university publication. And funnily enough, it wasn't even Monash that was sort of selling these. It was the Italian publishers and university who had a table at the book fair. So super fun. I was very chuffed. I was very chuffed to find my little zine scanned into this like super cool little publication. And this is what I also love about things like this, is that this is purely utilitarian design and utilitarian printing. Like, could not be any more simple. It's literally just like, here's the list of people, here's the list of people on the back, so here's the list of people that are cited, here's the list of people on the back, and then every page is just like a scan from a book with the quote at the top. And to me, this is such cool design because it's so utilitarian. It's just as simple as it possibly can be. There's no fluff, there's no flounce, there's no bells and whistles. It's just, here's the information, digest it, read it, do with it what you will. And this to me is like peak graphic design. I love it. Super cool. Very stoked. Please hold for plane. I also just got some like little bits, little stickers, little bookmarks, cute little cards. This is actually from like a little gin bar that I went to while I was down there called, oh no, wait, I went to this bar. I can't remember what it was called. I will put it in the description when I find it. It's in Fitzroy. It's a new bar and I had a really delicious cocktail. But there was a Japanese guy there who ran a gin bar in Japan, and he was like chatting to everyone, and I just got chatting to him, and he was like, oh, please take a coaster from my bar that I run in Japan. It is nice to sort of be in those situations where you're like just by yourself and you just get chatting to people and they turn out to be really nice. So next time I go to Japan, I'm gonna go to this bar and say hello. Okay, what else have I got? This is called, what is it? Against Coffee Table Books. This is a publication about 6 articles against coffee table books, positions itself as a clear, straightforward and honest guide to navigating the complex world of contemporary publishing. I haven't read this yet, but I'm very excited to, and it's printed in blue ink, which is so delicious, and it's got this beautiful, it just looks fantastic, honestly. I bought it purely because I liked the cover and I liked the title. Sometimes you have to judge a book by its cover. You know what? All the time you have to judge a book by its cover. It's 2026. The graphic design is alive and well. Print is alive and well. You need to make your book covers look good. I'm sorry. Literally, what is the point of the cover if not to be judged? I spent $40 on this because it looked great. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it was $40. Maybe it was a bit cheaper than that, but still. Okay, next thing. The next things that I got. Oh, this is another little bookmark from Sandwich Press. Super cute. I love Riso things. They're so nice. I love colours. So, next few things are by a friend of mine who I was also sitting next to. Her name is Carla McRae. She's an amazing illustrator and designer. First is this like super cute bumper sticker, which I think I'm gonna put on my printer because it's skinny enough to fit on the like printer paper tray. So I think that's gonna go there, and it says tune in. Super cute. The next little things are these bookmarks, which I just took a few of because she was giving them away for free. She was like, pick as many colors as you want. Just so beautiful. I just love her illustration style. So simple, and like her line work is just so balanced and elegant and stunning. And they all look so good. All the colors look so good. So I got a few of these to give away to people and to keep for myself. So I think I'm gonna hang one up, and then I'm gonna use one for an actual book, and then I'll give one to my partner. So nice. And then this, look at this. Wow. This is so sick. This is, it says transcend the wormhole. It's a carpenter's pencil, which as we found out, people did not know what it was at the book fair. They were like, what is this? And what is it for? And what do you do with it? It's a carpenter's pencil, and it's for carving. It's for doing drawing on wood, effectively, like measuring stuff out. But Carla is a mural painter as well, and she uses these to sketch out her murals like on the walls, because they're quite sort of tough, hardy pencils, and you have to like carve them to sharpen them. So she just had some made. She had some made that say transcend the wormhole, which is like, in her opinion, like it's like flow state. So get into flow state, do your work, have a good time. And yeah, so sick. I want to make custom carpenter's pencils, or some kind of custom tool that's relevant to my practice. These are, I think it's one of those things where I'm like, I love the object so much, I don't want to use it as the thing that it was intended for, so I think I'm just gonna like stick it on my wall or something. I also got this beautiful reference bank book by Carla as well. This is just photographs of windows that she's collected over probably a period of, I think she was saying 10 years or so, maybe longer. And I love things like this, like just basically just illustration references. So purely just collections of windows and some doorways so that you can kind of fall back on them to draw. And she was saying, I have had all of these sort of stored up in my phone and on my computer for a really long time, and she was like, I just decided to make it into a book so I could physically look at the pictures instead of trying to find them on my computer all the time. And it's so beautiful. I just think it's just such a nice concept. I love collections, and I love practical collections and things that are like, yeah, I love references and things like that. I think it's just such a nice concept. And it was interesting because Carla was saying that she felt a little bit, I guess, like out of her depth making a photo zine, quote unquote, because they weren't sort of overly shot photographs that are like super high quality, like, oh, this is like, I'm a photographer and this is my whole photography practice. But to me, like, photos like this are actually, I think, just as, if not more beautiful than ones that are super staged, because to me this is just like a collection of like memories and stories. Hold the plane. Yeah, to me I think zines like this and art books like this should exist that aren't so like overly visually staged, where it's like, oh, this is like a big photography book from an artist who is a photographer. This is a completely different use of photography. This is a completely different practice of photography, and it's like photography for documentation and photography for archiving and photography for reference points, I think are just as important as the art practice of photography, if that makes sense. So yeah, very beautiful. Love it. This is another Carla work. This is a beautiful zine by the name of All the Stone Fruit We Didn't Eat This Summer. I think this is a very special book. it's got some really, I'm gonna find yeah, here we go. This is such a beautiful illustration. I'm always so blown away by Carla's line work. She has such an amazing command over just lead pencil, and her lines are so, like, they look like vectors. It's just amazing. Like the capacity to do what looks like vector line work in pencil with like just a ruler and a compass and your own hand. Just, oh my, look at this. Look at that. Oh my God. Just, this is just so beautiful. I'm very, very, very obsessed. And look at this gecko. Look at these little geckos. So good. So cute. This is a document of sort of memories and illustrations from Carla's family home, I believe. Yeah, childhood home. It's a really, really special edition. Please hold for plane. So many planes. So many planes. So much noise. I don't like it. It makes me sad. Ooh. What was I saying? Yes. This is a zine about preserving memory and preserving feeling and preserving a place that you sort of used to live and used to be, and being worried about it sort of slipping away from you. So it's quite an emotionally resonant zine, and I think it's very it's got a lot of, what's the word I'm trying to find, it's very like melancholic and nostalgic and reflective and emotive, and I really like it because I know this feeling, and it's a hard feeling to capture into one little thing, and I think this has done a very good job of doing that. And I think it's also, I also really appreciate when somebody really puts their vulnerability on the line for their work, because these are, you know, very special illustrations that are to do with, you know, losing the home that you grew up in and maybe not being able to access it forever, and you know, the concept of your parents getting older and things being thrown away when they break or go, but like they've been in your life the whole, you know, your whole childhood, and suddenly your old landline phone, you never thought that you were going to be emotionally attached to your old landline phone, but then the day you have to throw it away because it's just not plugged in anymore and nobody uses a landline, it ends up being kind of sad because you're like attached to that object in some kind of a way. So yeah, really special, beautiful, beautiful work of memories by Carla. And then lastly, oh yes, wait, hang on. This is a gorgeous little courgette, little zucchini print by Alice. Oh, like achieving green through blue and yellow Rezo is so delicious to me. I love it. This is yeah, a blue, yellow and pink print, and there's just like the most gorgeous little flecks of color in here, that like this tiny little flecks of purple, tiny little flecks of teal and blue, flecks of orange and pink. It's just like, oh, makes me so happy that instead of using green ink, she used blue and yellow on purpose to get those little extra details. This is going up in the studio. I'm very, very excited to look at it every day. And then lastly is this awesome zine by a new friend of mine called Dom, who is part of like Sticky Institute and does this great series called Show Pony, which is like a gig and movie and live music and events, experiences, review zine that's got a bunch of different editions, which I hope we will actually be working on a special edition of together, which is really cool. So that's kind of floating around in the works at the moment. But for the time being, I've just got like a cool copy of issue number 5. So yeah, a little gig guide, a little gig review zine, which is so cool. Please hold for helicopter. Maybe plane? I think maybe plane. Okay, anyway, that's it in terms of things that I purchased. Now let's get on to stock take, because we got a lot of stock to take in sort of half an hour. I could spend forever just talking about stuff that I bought. I pre-printed out a stock take sheet, and I need to find a pen so that I can mark how many things I've got. Please hold for 1 second. Okay, we've got it. We're chill. We're chilling. Okay. Do I want to do my prints first? Maybe. It's first on the list is my prints, so maybe I should do that. No, you know what? I'm gonna do my prints. I'm gonna take them out. I'm gonna count them. Literally, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna talk about stuff and we're gonna count the things. So, firstly is gingham print. Let's have a look. This is my gingham print. There's 21 masters on it. I made it in Japan. You have not seen the video of me making this in Japan yet, so early release. It's a video that I have been meaning to edit for a long time, but there's so much footage to edit and I hate editing, so it's just taking me forever. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I originally made 55 of these, and they sell pretty well. They're like, I feel like it's definitely one of those things where like people are just attracted to bright colors, and I can't blame them. That's kind of why I made it in the first place. But then there's people who are like, wow, so many Riso colors, and then there's people who just are like, oh, that's a cool looking print, and then there's people who really like gingham as well, because it's like all little gingham patterns. Yeah, I'm not gonna put things necessarily away totally well. I'm just gonna sort of stack them on the side because I'll put them away after the video. I think I've got more than one envelope of gingham prints. Maybe not. I'll just count them as they come. Next is my salami print, which I have been selling for a number of years now. This was previously a major like bestseller, and there was a day that I sold like 50 in one day, which was just crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just a 2-color Riso print, and it just has salami on it. I made it for a 2-color Riso exhibition that I participated in years ago now. I want to say like 2021, 2022. I can't remember exactly, but it was like, make a new print, like a 2-color print, and then we'll print it out for you and we'll put it in the exhibition, and then you'll get like some prints to take home and sell. And I did it literally like the night before. I did it the night before and I didn't know what to do, and so I looked in my fridge and there was some salami in there, and I was like, that's it, salami print #1, salami my #1. And it literally is just like celebrating salami slices, and people love it. People love hanging it up in their kitchen, which is super cool. It's definitely like it is such a kitchen print to have. Yeah, so it doesn't sell, I don't think it sells as well nowadays because, I don't know, I'm not sure. I just have more prints. I think when it was my only print, people were more inclined to buy that one just because it was the only one that I had. But now that I have like heaps more just available, I don't know, it's slightly less popular. But the people who do buy it are always really excited about it. I don't know. You never know what's gonna sell. This is a print that I made also in Japan. I wanted to do a print that allowed me to regularly donate to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. So this is that print. So every print that I sell, I donate $10 of the total profits to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And there's a poem about peace at the bottom, and the photo is from the Hiroshima Museum. I went to Japan by myself last year, and then I went to the Hiroshima Museum, all of the historic sites in Hiroshima City, and I was obviously very moved and very upset by the you know, the scale of the atrocities that were committed there, and I wanted to make something that reflected my views about war, which is vehemently anti-war. And in response to, you know, the active genocide that's happening in our own times, I wanted to have art that allowed me to regularly donate to funds to help, you know, provide aid and safety and all that stuff. This is a very heavy topic, but yes, anyway, that's this print. This is not a super popular print, I think, just because it's sort of a weird size, but in terms of just the economy of scale, I wanted to make it a very, very economic print to produce so that I could literally donate as much money as possible to the cause. So I have a fair few left. I think I made like 150 originally. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 23, 24, 25. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So 25 plus 34 is 69? Is that right? 25, I'm so lacking. 25 plus 34, 59. I'm lacking in brain cells today, unfortunately. Also, I know this isn't the most like exciting segment of the episode where I'm literally counting stuff, but we're just chilling, we're having a good time. So now would be an opportune moment for you to potter around the house and do your own little chores while I do stock take, because that's what this show is all about. I'm having a good time doing this. I hope you're having a good time hanging out with me. There's no pressure to sort of actively watch. We can just chill and do parallel tasks. So if you've got chores to do, get cracking. Okay, next print. This is one that I thankfully have already sort of counted out because I did so many of them originally that I sort of set them up in packs of 10. So this is my Always Friends studio print from last year. It was like celebrating market tables and celebrating doing fairs and markets, which is super fun. These are, I'm gonna just double check this particular one because I think I took one out the other day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, they're already in packs of 10. So that's very helpful for me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Great. That's easy. Usually I try to sort of pre-pack stuff because it just makes it easier to do continual stock take. And I have this sort of like big thick folder which originally housed all of my prints, like all of my stock of all of my prints, but I make, you know, 50 plus copies of stuff every time now. So that just houses one set, and I originally made 75 of those, and they sell okay. I've sold 20 of them. Because they're a 6-color print, they're a little bit more expensive. So, and because I made them like in Australia, and then they were more expensive to produce because I wasn't printing them myself. So it's just, you know, it's give and take. I think everything sort of averages out. These are some more gingham prints, so we'll do these quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, everything sort of averages out as you sell them, because like some prints like the salami print are only 2 colors, so very cheap to produce, and have a bigger profit margin because I can still sell them very affordable. I can sell them for like $15 and they're still quite affordable in terms of like cost price. And then the ones that I made in Japan are more affordable because the cost of printing in Japan is lower. And then the ones that are more expensive that I made in Australia that just have more colors that are more expensive to produce, they sell for a lower profit margin, but it's made up for in the ones that have a higher profit margin. So they all sort of balance out, and they all roughly make like the same, they kind of make the same profit margin like across all of them if you average them all out, which is kind of cool. So next one is just this little postal print, which I only have one left of. This is actually from a zine that I made with a friend of mine. And we just made some extra copies of the print because I love the print. It's just like it's a little 2-color print of the front cover of the zine. And I just love it. I just think it's such a pretty print, and it was such a nice size too. So it's like a very affordable, it's a very affordable print. So I'm just going to put that at the bottom because I don't think I wrote it on the postal print. I didn't even write it on the thing because I thought I was sold out of all of them, but this one's spare. These are works by my mum that I printed. She's an incredibly talented painter, and I begged her to let me make some editions through Rizzo. I actually don't have a full stock of these because they're currently living at her house, so I only have one of each of these, and I'm not going to stock take these because they're not on my store. But I think I might steal the stock back off her and put them on my store because I really like them. There's some little loosies down here, so I've got two extra ginghams. So plus 2 extra, 3 extra of these. Add those in. Studio print plus 3. And then I've got this print as well, which is another print that I made in Japan, which is called Bus Station. I love this print. I think it turned out so good. I just love the colors of it. And I love, you can see here, like every single print has like a different label. I have so much fun like putting these together and making it feel like a real product, I guess, like with the label on it. I think it really sort of ties it all together. And I have fun like matching the color of the label to the vibe of the print. So this is like a very kind of purpley style print. Please hold for plane. I'll count these up while we hold for plane. Yes, this was a print inspired by all the little things that I saw on Naoshima Art Island. So there's a beautiful like a little tiny bus that goes around the whole island, and the sort of little main character is like waiting at the Naoshima bus stop, and he's running late for the bus. And then there's just like lots of little things that I saw on the island that I was inspired by. So I made this one in Japan as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one definitely sells quite well. I feel like people just really are charmed by it. And they really like the colors. I feel like it's such a nice, like, even though it's got quite a lot of colors, it's a 6-color print, but I feel like people just seem to resonate with it. I think people just really like it. This is a closed envelope of Bus Station prints, so I think I've already counted these. It does say there is a count on it already. It says there's 19, but we are doing stock take, so I am going to double check. Yeah, I feel like people are just charmed by this print. It's very cute. It's done with like a little, what's it called? Like it was done with an airbrush, and so like the actual colors look so just cool through, because it's like such an interesting way of seeing how Rizzo works. You can really see like the technique, or you can really see the way that the heat map and the data transfer works. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. So I was wrong. There was more prints in here than it said on the envelope. So I counted incorrectly last time I counted these. Alright. And I also made 55 of those, I think. So that's empty. I tend to make more prints than I probably need, but I also find that like just because Rezo is so economical, it just like, to me it doesn't make sense to do a small run because you're already paying for the cost of the master, and it's like, okay, well I might as well just run off like another 20 copies because it's going to be like another $20. You're literally just paying for the paper and the impression. Hold for plane. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh. Also incorrect. Also an incorrect count from the last time that I counted these. Where did my pen go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm kind of getting down there in terms of how many prints I have left of stuff, which is kind of cool. Let's move this bucket out of the way. I'll put that up there. Okay, next thing that we have to count is, let's do, I guess we'll do these first. So yeah, it's like I got, okay, I only have 3 greeting cards left. These are my greeting cards. I did like a little series of them, and I just did them as like a little test. So they weren't like a crazy, it was just like an experiment, and they've done pretty well. I think people prefer to buy them in packs, which is very interesting to me because I don't buy card packs at all, and I only buy packs, like I only buy cards when I have somebody's birthday coming up, and I just go to the store and buy a card. But like, apparently people are more organized than I am. So I think if I make these again in the future, I will print them in Australia, because I printed these in the UK because I was like, I just wanted to run off a few copies and just like test it out. But I would much prefer to do this on an uncoated stock, and just, I don't know, I feel like the print quality is like, it's fine, but I think it could be better, TBH. Okay. This is my zine called Going. It's a Rezo zine, and it's like kind of, it's poetry and linguistics, and it's just a funky little zine. It's about all the things that you could be going to do. And so it's like every page has like a different, hang on, I'll show you a good one. So each, it's really hard to explain this zine. I'll just read one of them out. It's like, so it's a checklist, right? It's a checklist of things that you're going to do, and you can check them off as you do them. But it's like, oh, hold the plane. Hold the plane, please. That's it, my coffee's done. Okay. So every checklist is like a poem, and each checklist has a different theme. So the first checklist is states of being, and then as you go down the list, it's like its own little story. So to start, states of being, it's going well, going pretty good, going with the flow, going together, going steady, going on 30, going through it, going ham, going crazy, going postal, going bananas, going feral, going off, going rogue, going solo, going around the twist, going extinct. And so each one of these is like a completely different style. So then there's like physical attributes. Going quiet, going goblin mode, going commando, going into shock, going on the pill, going off the pill, going into labor, going grey, going bold. And then like each page has like a different set of screenshots. It's a very random zine, and it's funny because some people get it and some people don't get it. And it's just, unfortunately, like I think I printed off 100 of these, and it's taken a long time to sell them all because some people just truly do not understand the point of this scene, and they don't get it, and they don't understand, and they're like not interested in it. But then the people who do pick it up and they understand it think it's really funny and they love it. So it's kind of it's more of an esoteric pick, and I've had stock of it for a long time, but we're slowly reaching the end of our stockpile. Let's see, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 plus the display. So 26. I'm just going to write 25 plus 1D because then I can understand that one of them is the display copy. And I've lost my pen again. Oh, here it is. So 25 plus 1D. And that's my display copy of that. Okay. Next box. We have my new and unreleased zine, which is my Japan journal from my last trip to Japan. There it is. There's me on the front cover, and it's like a little junk journal from my trip away. These are my two favorite pages. There's heaps of different what's it called? Different spreads that are all like, yeah, journaling and writing and storytelling from this solo trip that I took. That was a very, very special, like emotionally resonant experience to go to my favorite country alone and like just do exactly what I wanted to do. So I ended up scanning this in because I scanned it in and posted it online, and it sort of went a little viral and ended up getting like reposted on like Twitter and LinkedIn and Pinterest, and the post got like 7,500 likes, which for my little Instagram page, which I have like 7,000 followers, is kind of crazy. So yeah, I ended up making it into a zine because I was like, if people are going to steal it and put it on Pinterest, then I might as well make 25 bucks a pop from it. So yeah, I launched it at Melbourne Art Book Fair. It's not online yet. It's not anywhere. It's literally just like buy it in person only. But yeah, people really like it and they're like, wow, junk journaling, very cute. It's funny because like I grew up calling it scrapbooking and not junk journaling. But yeah, the kids call it junk journaling now, so that's what it is. So anyway, we're going to count these. I think I sold like, I made 100 of these too because I was like, I'm happy to sort of stock this for a while because it's a pretty easy, it's an easy sell. Like the girlies love it, and I think that's fair because I also love it. It's very special to me. Anyway, let's count this box up. I think I have 2 boxes of this at the moment, so let's have a look. Okay, 2, 4. I also tend to stack these. So what I do, as you can see here, please hold for play. I stack them like one out, one in, so that I can count them really easily, because this is a thick zine. So to keep them flat, the planes are killing me today. There's so many planes. To keep them flat and in a nice stack, you stack them like spine to edge, 1 to 1 to 1. But it also makes it really easy to count, so I can count them 2 at a time or like 5 at a time. So like this, for example, like 3 spines and 2 little spines is 5, and you can just chunk them out like that, which is fun. So 5, and then we have 10, and then we have 15, 20, and that's 25. Yep, 25 in that box. Where's my little, where are you? Ooh. There. Did I not write it down? That can't be right. I didn't write it down apparently. Oh no. What the hell? I didn't write it. That's very unlike me. Okay, well, I will write it at the top. 1-31 Japan. 25 in one box, and then where's my other box of this zine? I think it's this one. Nope. No. Oh, I think it's this one. Yes, here we go. Okay. Let's count some more. 2, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5. 10. 15. 2, 4, 5. 24. Okay, so I have like 50 copies left. Wow, I didn't realize I sold 50 copies. That can't be right. I wonder if I have some somewhere else. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see if any more pop up. Okay, next one. This is my zine called Unsee, and I'm not going to show you the inside because it is a spooky 18 plus horror zine. This again is a funny one. It's one of those zines where if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. It's a zine about cursed images that I have collected across the internet for many years, and I just find myself like not necessarily attracted to, but like I stumble across these images that make me feel funny, and then I just save them. So this is like it's like a zine of the collection of those strange images that are like not objectively like gruesome or like horror images, but they're definitely like unsettling and liminal and strange and uncanny and weird and a bit disturbing. So yeah, it's a spooky zine. Some people really don't like it, and the reason I've made it 18 plus is because a lot of kids come to zine fairs and I just don't want them to pick it up. So it is sealed, and I don't really like letting people look at it beforehand because I just don't want somebody to like pick it up and then be like not make an informed decision about whether or not they want to read it, even though it's not that bad, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's just like a consent thing. I just want to be like, you have to buy it in its entirety before you're allowed to like read it. But yeah, this is one for the freaks, and the freaks get it and the non-freaks don't get it. And the one time that I had one available to look at, a little old lady picked it up and was very scandalized and very shocked and very upset, and she put it down and walked entirely out of the zine fair. So that's why it's sealed. Anyway, hold the plane while I count them. 15. We're getting down in those. I did a second edition of those. So I originally made 25 of them, and then I did a second run because they sold out really quickly, and I made 50 more. And the second run unfortunately did not do as well as the first run in terms of like just general popularity. It's always really funny, like I don't know, second runs tend to have this kind of not bad luck per se, but like they tend to sell slower. I don't know. This is why I kind of tend not to do second editions anymore, because they just don't sell as well. Oh, there's another card. Where am I going to put that? I kind of let's put it there. Okay, next one is my little Martin Scorsese zine. I will do a second run of these because they're so cheap to make. This is a zine about a very silly concept. It's called, and bear with me for a second. It's called The Film Watcher's Guide to Martin Scorsese Films with Protagonists whose surnames sound very similar to the names of vegetables. Did you get all of that? This is a very silly zine. I made this after I watched, I will show you. I made this after I watched Taxi Driver and King of Comedy back to back. And I realized watching them that it sounded like Travis Bickle sounds like pickle, and Rupert Pupkin sounds like pumpkin. And they're kind of hectic characters and they're kind of hectic movies, and I thought it was really funny that it sounded like pumpkin and pickle. So it's literally like a 2-page single fold little zine about the fact that Travis Bickle and Rupert Pupkin sound like pickle and pumpkin. And that's it. It's very silly. And it was inspired by, like, the design was inspired by the Dr. Bronner's Sal Suds soap. So like green and red. I wanted to do green and orange, but we don't have orange, so I did green and like really bright red to do kind of pumpkin and pickle colors. Yeah, I will print more of these. I did 100 of these, and they're so cheap to make. They're so cheap to make, and they are so cheap to sell. I sell them for $4. So they're just like it's an easy sell. It's an easy sell, and it's an easy to make. So it's very like, hold for plane. yeah, very easy to sell and very easy to make. So I don't mind making a second edition because it's kind of like just like a fun one to have on my stand, and people really like them. People think they're really funny. I also really like on the edge here, I did like this kind of just like a bit of extra printing just like on the edge there, and I just think it makes the spine look really fun. You can't really see it because it's so tiny. Anyway, let's count these puppies up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for that scene. I think we've sold heaps of them. Let's see. Where are you? Scorsese. 21. Okay. Next we have our Japanese paper packs, which I can see 2, 3, 4, 5. By the looks of things, I only have 5 of these left. These have been an incredibly popular paper pack collection for junk journaling, not scrapbooking anymore, but collage, junk journaling, scrapbooking, whatever you want to call it. It's just heaps of paper, heaps and heaps of paper samples that I collected over many trips to Japan. I tend to buy notebooks that have very specific print on them for a very specific use case. So for example, like receipt sheets, docket sheets, invoices, certificate sheets from schools, all sorts of grid paper, note paper, schedules, timetables, you name it. If there's a notepad of it, I have it, and then I never use them because I don't have a use case for them. But I just like to collect them. And so instead now what I do is I collect them and I save a few samples for myself, and then I make paper packs out of them so that you can guilt-free cut them up and stick them in and use them for your journaling enjoyment. So I only have 5 of these left, and I'm due to make some more because they are super popular, and people will never stop cutting and sticking little bits of paper and stuff, which is very nice, and that's good for me. I have 5 copies of that. Next we have our grocery lists. Oh no, these are mini rulers, that's not what I want. Come back to that. Grocery lists, here we are. These have also been very popular, and I will be remaking these. This is just literally like a little grocery list. It was inspired by another grocery list that I saw by Jumbo Press, and I was like, I want to make one of those. That's super cute. And then I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do like a whole series of different stationery lists. So grocery list, to-do list, and like a before I go to bed, get my thoughts out kind of list paper. I didn't staple these particularly nicely, and they were just kind of like a test run, so I sold them a little bit more cheaply, and like people really like them. They're kind of simple and like not too, I guess like they're not too like over engineered, if that makes sense. Like they're just chill and simple. So I have not very many of these left. I think I made 60 of them originally. It's funny because to make 60 of these you have to print so many pages because like there's, you know, X amount of sheets per list. It's not just one list. So you have to print 60 times 8, if that makes sense. So it's like a lot of, but you can fit 6 of these on one A3 sheet. So it's a bit of maths to get like a nice round number that means you can make X amount of notepads, which is really funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not very many left. Wow. Cool. That's nice. That's definitely, I feel like stationery is definitely like a good, they're like good little side products to have at the zine fair, because people like to buy a zine and then, you know, buy some little extra stuff, buy some little extra things. I have some more of these Japan zines. I knew there was more somewhere. I was like, I can't possibly have sold 50 of them in 3 days. That's crazy. So let's count these out really quickly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Hold for plane, please. Okay, next is some little mini zines that I have, and I sold out of so many of my mini zines, which is just fucking nuts. Like I feel like anything under $5 is usually like a pretty easy sell. So let me just try and find the remaining copies of the mini stuff. I think they're in here. Yes, they are. Okay, cool. So I have, this is my little, I did like a little mini essay series that was just like old writing of mine that I decided to remake into little mini essay zines that are like cheap to make, cheap to buy. They're all $5. This one is definitely the most popular one, I think, just because it's pink and it is the most accessible of the essays. This is just about, it's called How to Be Friends with a Building, and it's about like engaging with architecture in the built environment. I will reprint this, but I think in a different format because people just really like this, and I think I want to include some like illustrations and photos and sort of make it more of a, I guess, like a bigger experience. This one is about Severance, the TV show, and also Twin Peaks. It's about the fact that I think that Twin Peaks cursed television when it came out with its giant cliffhanger and 25-year gap between seasons. And I think Severance season 2 broke that curse. So that's a fun essay, but you sort of have to have watched both shows to like understand what I'm talking about. And then this was about, it's called Where Do We Go From Here? And it is about Apple's new iPad ad, which was, it's now a few years old, obviously. But they did like an iPad Pro ad where they crushed a bunch of creative stuff, and it was really bad taste. And I wrote a very complaining essay about corporate advertising. So those are 3 little essays, and I have one pink one left. So I definitely need to make some more of those. And then in terms of my Severance and Apple ones, let's have a quick look. Yeah, it's funny what, like, I feel like these two, the people that do buy them are really excited about them, but because they're just a little bit more, their topics are just less accessible, I guess. Like, they're for, like, they're not for everyone, if that makes sense. So, you know, which I can appreciate. Like, not everyone wants to read about Apple's advertising and my complaints about it. So 5, 10, 15, 15, and then we have, is that 20? Yep, 20, 25, 31. I made 50 of all of these because they're very small to stock and ship, so it's not too much. It's just not too much to carry, so I don't really mind making 50 of them, and I'll probably never make them again. It'll just be like a single, it'll be a single run just to keep it simple. But I definitely will do this. This is not the first iteration of this essay either. Like I had an old zine that was this essay plus the illustrations that I originally did for a different project, and then I've repurposed this work so many times because people continue to resonate with it, which is really cool. So I want it to like continue to exist. Yes, okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 30, 31 also. Cool. Okay. So I've sold 20 of each of those, roughly. That's pretty good. And I've almost entirely sold out of the pink one. Put those up there. Okay, what other little mini zines do I have? This one is one that I just started stocking. Do I have any more of them? What's in here? Oh yeah. It's just like, what's it called? Collage materials. Put that away for the time being. This is called My Rabbit Neighbor, and it is by Rochelle O. I've just started stocking it. Super cute. It's a very cute little like comic concertina zine. So it, instead of like little pages that go like that, it actually like flips out like this. There's a comic on one side and then little grid and graph paper on the other side, and you can like cut it up and send little notes to your friends. Super cute. I think I ordered maybe 30 of these. I honestly can't remember, but I'm just like stocking these, so I bought them wholesale and I'm just reselling them. And I don't have very many left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I'm already like running out of those. Jesus, okay. Might need to order some more. Another one that I'm stocking / I have licensed is by Amy McCarthy. This one is called My Little Trinkets, and it is a H-fold mini zine. Super cute, like little like half-tone pictures of true to size trinkets, little tiny trinkets. Please hold the plane. And it pulls out to a little poster of all the trinkets together. So these are all like literally like 1-to-1 scale. They're like little tiny little trinkets. And I licensed this zine, so I paid a license fee to then produce the zine in-house, and it popped off. People loved it. People were like super into the zine. It's very cute. It's a very popular zine on my table. So I have since licensed another copy because I only have like, I want to say like 10 of these left. I think it's maybe even less. 1, 2, 3. I have 6 of these left. So I made 50 of them and I sold what, 44 copies in 3 days, which is crazy. So 6 copies of that. Super cute. Trinkets, 6 copies. Next is my Passerby series, which I have 2 left of. I have 4 titles in this series. These are like little photo zines of just stuff that I have like walked around taking photos of, and they're just like little collections of different photos. This one's called Trucks and Bikes, so there's just trucks and bikes. This is like this is a very popular series. People really like these zines. I think just like the general technique of them, and like people really like all the little bits that are attached to it. And they're just cute, like I feel like photo zines that are like non-arty photos, if that makes sense. Like just idle photography from just being around in the environment. I feel like people really resonate with that. Maybe more so than super like highly polished photography. Unless you're into photography, if that makes sense. I don't know, I could be wrong, but in terms of like what I sell, people like photo zines that are, I guess, more down to earth and just like iPhone photos. Like these are all iPhone photos and people really like them. So I have none of my other series of those. I only have 2 of Passerby 1. So I don't know if I'm going to make more of these. I think I want to hold the plane, please, for a second while I gather my thoughts. I think I want to make additional titles in this series, but I don't necessarily want to remake the ones that I've already made. They are quite labor intensive to produce and they are quite expensive to produce, so I think it would be nice to make more collections of them, if that makes sense. Like not repeating the ones that I've already made, but I don't know, they are quite popular, so you know, maybe I'll change my mind, I'm not sure. Next zine we have is one by my friend Rewaz. I don't have many of these left. Oh, there's another unsee here. There's a few unsees here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 more unsees. Goes back. 15 plus 4. I don't have many of these left either. This is a little zine by my friend Rewaz, and it is little collections of frog statues that he's collected over the years. I love this zine. It's nice and simple. I think yeah, this is one that I personally really like, and there's people who are super into frogs who pick this up and absolutely adore it, and then some people I think like overlook it a little bit, maybe because it is so simple. But to me, it's just like a really lovely collection. I just love collections. I'm a big collections fan. So this scene to me is like, you know, he actually went to the trouble of collecting all of these statues and then treating the images and taking the photos and stuff. So this was one of the first things that I like licensed under Always Friends. So yeah, it's like a special zine to me because Ree was like, you know, trusted me with his work and supported my little venture like right at the start. So I think it's a special little zine for me. And I don't have very many copies left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 1 display. Wow. Frogs 9 plus 1 D. 3. Alright, what else have I got? I don't have any more print packs. That's like Razor offcuts and other paper samples. They sold out like hotcakes very quickly. Like I think I only had 10 when I got to the Melbourne Fair, and it was just, they were instantly gone. So I don't have any more of those. I only have 2 magazines left, and they are sort of back editions of Brutus and Popeye, so I'm not really going to go through those because they're like just consumer mags. 1 Brut, 1 Popeye. What else have I got? I have, oh yes, my postal zine with my friend Miles. So I've got a fair few of these. This was a big run. And I'm not going to unpack these because they are already packed up, but this is a zine and poster and print pack all about the postal service. My friend Miles was a postman, but also like a cinematographer and illustrator, and he went around on his postal route and took photos of like mailboxes and sculptures and, you know, little bits in the wild that he saw that he liked, and then he illustrated them and then took photos of the illustrations next to the item. And I really loved the work. He was just posting them on Instagram stories, and I loved the work, and I asked him if he'd want to make it into a zine and like make it into a bit of like a, I guess like a story. And he was really excited about that. So he actually did 1 postal route and he did 1 postal route and collected imagery and illustrations and then delivered the mail, and it became like 1 day in his life as a postie. And we made the Rezo print that you saw earlier, which I have lost now, it's somewhere in the pile. Then we made 3 postcards and a mini print, and I can't remember what else. And the zine. So it's kind of like a little pack, which is really cool. This is a more expensive zine. It was just simply more expensive to produce because it's like a 40-page full color zine, and there's so many other things with it. So this is definitely like a slow burn seller. People really like it, but because it is a higher price point, it's just like not everyone can afford it, which I really appreciate. It's just not it's not in everyone's budget, and I feel like you've got to be really into the content of something to be willing to spend more money on it at a zine fair, especially. So I do have a fair few copies of this left, but I do really like this zine, and I'm more than happy to stay like stocking it, and I want it to go to like the right homes, if that makes sense. Because the people that do buy it, like they hear the story and they love it, and they're so into it straight away. So I think it's like sometimes with a product you have to have a little bit of trust that like it will sell in its time, because it has to find the right home, it has to find the right people to go to. So yeah, that's this stack. I have a fair few of these. Just pull it up. Oh, I haven't opened copies yet. Oh. It's a heavy one. So yeah, this is the zine, and it's got all these different layouts and different stories and different little mail routes. It's really cute. It's really sweet. We worked really hard on it, so I'm very proud of it. Yeah, it makes me happy. And then I'll show you the little postcards as well. So we did this crazy little mini print like on a piece of paper from, it's like the Miss Delivery paper, and then we did some postcards like with stamps, and this is a bike photo that he took, and this beautiful sculpture that he found on his way around the postal route. And then we've got the Rezo print as well, and it all comes packed in like this cool envelope that we did a label for. So let's count these puppies up. Ooh, I'll put this one back in its little display folder. 2, 3, 4. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32. So we've sold like 20 copies, which is cool, out of 50. 32 plus 1 display. Where are you, Crystal Z? Oh, there you go. Cool. Yeah, this is a slow burn, and it's also really heavy, so I don't often pack more than like 5 or 10 copies at a time because it's just like a very heavy zine, and there's just not that much space for heaps of stock. Whereas like the smaller ones, like I can just bring all 50 and it's fine. But that's just like, you know, that's just how the game's played, unfortunately. Then next one I have is another licensed zine. This is a very popular zine, and I definitely want to relicense this because it's just like people love it. It's all the pamphlets from early seasons of The Simpsons. This is a really cool. Oh no, it's all seasons. Like there's up to like season 21 in here, season 23. Yeah, this is by Johnny Thor, and it's distributed originally by the second best pet shop in town, and it's a UK based Simpsons themed online store. So they only make work about the Simpsons, which is so sick to me. Like I think the work is so fun and I love it. So this is an instant bestseller. People love this zine. If they're Simpsons fans, they cop it immediately. It's like not even a question. So I only have a few copies of that left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies. That's it. I've got to license this again and get onto printing some more of them. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, it is a little bit more expensive to produce and the profit margin isn't huge, but it is such a popular zine, it just kind of doesn't matter. And it's like I always end up selling like 10 copies every fair. Next is I have 1 copy left of this zine called Flowchart. This is the second one in the series. It's called Flowchart 2, and it's a zine about flowcharts. There's literally like all these different flowcharts in the zines, and they're like, how do I describe it? They're really silly. So one of the flowcharts, for example, is, am I Nicolas Cage? And there's questions about whether or not you are Nicolas Cage, and you've got to answer them, and you'll discover at the end of the flowchart if you are or are not Nicolas Cage. This was a very popular zine, and I had 2 of them, so I had Flowchart 1 and Flowchart 2. But I have made 3 editions of this now, and it's definitely time to retire it. I love them, and they did really well in their time, but this is the last copy, and I think I actually might just give this away in like in a pack just for fun. It's just like, I feel like eventually you kind of get a little bit over having something at your stall for such a long time, and like, again, it's one of those ones where it's like you either get it or you don't get it, and some people really don't get it, and they're like, what the fuck is this? And the people that do get it really like it, but yeah, it's just, I've just had it for so long, and it's time for it to be retired and be celebrated in the archive. So I have 1 of those left, which I think I will just give away. Finally, second to last. Yeah, I'm not going to do the mini rules, and I'm not going to do the clips in this particular episode because we are well and truly running out of time. I have 3 copies left of this art book called Echoes of the Algorithm, which is a book made by my friends at Studio 3am. This is a design studio that I sometimes freelance for. Incredibly talented designers who I deeply love and respect. They are some of the nicest people I've ever worked with, and I'm now friends with some of them outside of freelancing, and they work so hard, and they are so good at what they do. Like, the quality of the work at 3am is just next level, and I always feel so privileged to work with them, and I try not to feel out of my depth, but they are just so skilled and so good at what they do and so talented, and their attention to detail is just like next level. So I always really appreciate working with them because I feel like I get to learn more and my own design skills like improve every single time I do a project with them. So it's like my absolute pleasure to stock this book that a few of the designers made from their team. This was by 3 designers in their team, Marty, Julia, and Mike. Yeah, it's about like the experience of understanding the place that AI and generative AI has in like the design world and in the creative industries, and it's kind of a bit of like poems and musings, and yeah, it's a really interesting project that I just am really happy to stock, and I always want more copies of this because this is like a much more expensive it's a more expensive art book, and I only sell 1 or 2 copies per zine fair, but again, it's like a very special piece of print. It's completely risograph printed. There's like all of these beautiful illustrations. So like it's just like a really special piece of design, and I really love having it on my table. So I don't mind that it takes a little longer to sell because yeah, it's just like, to me, it's just like an important piece of media, and I really love stocking it. So I think I originally had 25 copies of this, and slowly but surely I've gotten down to the last 3. It's nice to be almost out of stock, and I think it's time to hit them up for a little restock. Last little zine for today is my Valentine's zine, which I'm down to my last bag of. This again was a bestseller back in the day. It's a 2-color risograph little zine about all the ways that you can tell somebody that you love them without saying I love you. I will unpack one of these so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like it's very thin, like, it's a little Rizzo zine. It's got these sort of really wobbly illustrations in it, and they're very like pale. They're kind of hard to see on camera. They're very like pale, soft illustrations, and it's very much like it's a very reflective zine, and it's like a very soft, floaty, romantic little zine about love. So I actually reprinted this and then translated it to take to Japan for the Tokyo Art Book Fair a few years ago, and so this copy is bilingual. So it's got the English version and then the translated version, and I made it I translated it purposely over other zines that I took, because the special thing about this is that culturally in Japan, you don't say I love you all the time. Like it's like a very like uncommon thing to say, like even to a romantic partner. So to me, like having this sort of little diary about different ways to say I love you, and taking it to a country where it's like culturally you don't say I love you, you say like different things to express that, I just thought was like a really nice, it made sense. It was like a nice match to do something like in that language to take for a foreign book fair. So yeah, I only have a few copies left. This was one that I printed a lot of copies of originally. Like I originally made 100 and then I made another 100. So the bulk of stock that I've had of this zine for a very long time, it just felt like I was never getting it down, but it's just because I had so many of them, and I always sell copies at the zine fair. It's a cheap zine. It's like it's only $6. So I usually end up selling like 10 to 15 per fair, but like it's taken several years to sell 400 copies, or no, so 200 copies. So yeah, anyway, this is the last zine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ooh. Oh, I gotta recount. Oops, I miscounted. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then I'll make this the display one, because I sold the display copy at the Melbourne Fair. So what was that? Oh god, I've lost count of everything. I've counted too many things and now I'm exhausted. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 plus a display. 1, 9 plus 1. D. Awesome. Alright, that's stock take done. Thanks for hanging. It's been an hour and a half. Thanks for hanging with me. I will most likely do a part 2 of this because I have other things to stock take and other things to show you, but that's more like my clips and my mini rulers, which I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about the design of. And I am working on a video about my beautiful little greyhound who I adopted, but it's taking a while to edit because again I am not an editor, so you'll have to be patient. I'm sorry it's been 2 months since I posted a video. I've been flat out busy, and I've been in dog world taking care of my little doggy, and I've been prioritizing just enjoying having her in my life and taking care of her, so I've had less time to make and edit videos as well as like do work and have a job. Anyway, thanks for hanging, love you, and goodbye.